Hello and welcome. I'm Cisco from the LABASAD team, and thank you everyone for joining us today for the masterclass AI in Interior Design, Past, Present, and Future with Amir Noori, expert in AI in high-end architecture and interior design. Today, Amir will explore how AI has evolved in the last 3 years and analyze what the future horizon looks like for this industry. Before we begin, and I hand things over to Amir, I would like to tell you briefly about LABASAD and our educational experience. Okay, so oh, LABASAD is an exclusively online design school that offers 100% live training. This format creates an immersive and interactive experience, making online learning just as dynamic as an in-person class. Okay, so to give you an idea of LABASAD's impact, here are a few key facts. Here you have the recommendation of our students. We have more than 4,000 students that have studied with us. We have more than 250 faculty members, and our global community includes from over 54 countries like Germany, the United States, Spain, Italy, and more else. So another thing we want to share to all of you is that LABASAD's reputation extends far beyond our students. Specialized international media outlets such as Creative Bomb or It's Nice That have highlighted our innovative approach and our commitment to creative talent. And we also want to share one of the things that set us apart in our commitment to our student development beyond the classroom. Our programs offer real opportunities for international recognition. And here you have an example of Vanessa Garcia, a student from our online master in packaging, who was recognized at the Pent Awards in London, winning gold in the food category and silver in luxury goods. Okay. And what are the benefits of studying with us? Here are a few. Our instructors are currently working in their field and come from all around the world. We work alongside our students through their training, making sure they feel connected and supported every step of the way. And beyond the academic content, our students have access to a wide range of opportunities like workshops, master classes like this one, group follow-up sessions, award entries, and more things, okay? Just for you to know that if you're interested in joining LABASAD, our next intake for the online master in interior design and hospitality is starting soon in May 6th. Currently, all of our programs include a specialization in AI. So if you're interested in a different master, you will still find updated curriculum covering everything related to AI. Okay. Well, I will leave you now a couple of links here in the chat where you can request more information about the master. Also, if you need any guidance, you can directly book a call with our specialized advisors. And that's all. So now it's my pleasure to introduce Amir Noori. I will leave you in his capable hands. Enjoy the session. I'll see you at the end where you will have the chance to ask some questions if you would like. Okay, so Amir, I'll leave you with you. Okay, 1 second.
1, 2, 3 test. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Shall I start sharing my screen? Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much for the introduction, and good evening, everyone. Hope you're doing well, and such an exciting time in terms of technology and creativity, right? My name is Amir, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of AI Hub, as well as Narva AI, which is the primary tool that we use when we created in AI Hub. I'm based in London, and I teach at LABASAD from time to time as well, some classes. And I'm honored here to be with you and share some experience and very, very interesting, exciting things that are going on in the sort of AI world. I don't know if you've heard recently, there is a very interesting and a bit scary, actually, study by Anthropic. I think if I can find the article here is interesting one that is suggesting, if you look at this chart, it is suggesting that architecture and engineering is among one of those professions that is highly automatable, which I would actually not really agree, but this is their research. And it is quite surprising, but that is a signal for us to think about what the future of this profession will look like and how we as designers will be working in this industry for years to come. So there are certainly serious questions around what we are going to do in the future in this industry, and hopefully this session will shed some light on some of those questions, and we can answer some of them together. Let's go back to the presentation. Just a bit about who we are as AI Hub. So AI Hub is a creative innovation studio based in London, proudly working with over 50 top architecture, interior design, and retail companies globally. We work with architects, interior designers, also retail companies such as Dolce & Gabbana. We also work with tech companies like Google, where they hire us to train their users on how to use AI, for example. You might have seen us in different magazines and publications that you follow. Some of our collaborations lately has been working with brands like, for example, Google to, as I said, teaching a wide sort of audience of interior designers based in UK how to use Nano Banana, which is their primary flagship AI model, and also brands like Dolce & Gabbana to really help them to think differently when it comes to designing their spaces and using technologies like AI to be able to scale their production as well as design, where they're designing hundreds of stores around the world. Last year we had a session with them, basically working towards that mission. And I have some questions for you as well. We don't have so much time in this 1 hour session, so I'm not gonna stop here and stop in these questions, but these are questions that I want you to reflect on your own. But this one is quite simple. How do you currently use AI in your work? If you want to put in the chat, different ways that if you're using AI at all in your work. I know we are all using AI one way or another in our personal life, cooking advice, recipes, relationship advice, all these things we all do. But are you using AI for work at all or not? I would be interested to see how many people in this room are actually using it for work. When I started 4 years ago teaching AI to interior designers and architects, we used to take AI, like people that I used to teach, most people used to take AI as a very sort of playful, interesting tool to use as a hobby, not as a serious tool to design with. But I saw the future and what's going to happen to this industry, and I continued to explore. Let me see what you guys are saying. I know that this is a horrible thing for you to see in here, endless mirrors, but put in the chat, how you use AI currently work. I'm going to have a go at it in a second, but I want to show you maybe this slide where I'm basically showcasing on the left what I created using Midjourney, a tool that some of you, I believe, have heard of, one of the most primary tools of AI when AI was booming 3 years ago. It started to be really popular. And that was June 2022. You can see the image on the left is very abstract. There's no clarity in it, not so much clarity in furniture and design. But then it was pretty awesome, like just to type a few words and get something like as good as the image on the left. It was mind blowing. And fast forward to just 9 months afterwards, we suddenly saw Midjourney being able to create images that understood the concept of, let's say, Georgian houses, the paneling and the floor to ceiling height and everything. It started to understand more and more. And maybe this lady here might have 50 fingers, we don't know, but like still she looks like a human. That was a win back then. Now it is much more complicated. And my question to you all is, where are we heading? If this is where we were and how fast the technology evolved, where are we seeing ourselves in the next 4 years? And where is AI and what role does AI play in our daily professional lives? My answer to that is basically, I think that AI is kind of going to take over the design process, mainly being this production machine that takes order from the designer to produce assets that are going to be eventually presented to the client or passed to the contractor, etc., etc. Right? So at the moment, you might be dealing with AIs that just you use them for visualization. If I go back to the chat, I can see what people have been using AI for: process automation and image generation, enhanced renders, rendering animation, and prompts to create images, content reduction. Uh, is AI working on scale? We will answer that. Prepping presentations, as use AI to write reviews, create images. So analysis of budget and reports. That's interesting. In 4 years, AI will take over AutoCAD 3D programs. I agree, actually. Maybe we don't need to wait 4 years. Actually, it is kind of happening. There is annoying sound every few seconds. It's like you are bumping into the mic. I don't know if that's coming from me. Let me know if anyone. I'm also having trouble with audio. Okay, that's interesting. Let me see if anyone else has the same problem. I don't, because I'm using my Mac's microphone. Let me see if I can. Okay, yeah, it's the message. Let me mute this thing in here. Or how can I disable notifications? Notification, yeah, we don't want audio. Yeah, I think we wouldn't have audio anymore. Hopefully we'll be good after this. So yeah, thank you very much for noticing that and letting me know. So as we saw, most people are using AI for rendering, visualizations, and everything else. Now, what I see coming in the next few years is that AI is going to be in every single process of your projects from very beginning up until the end, where you're basically delivering the project, right? And right from the beginning, where it is like feasibility study, conceptual design, all to the end where it is like production and delivery and presentation and everything else. So at the moment you might be dealing with a lot of visualizations, but AI is actually going to draw CAD for you, is going to 3D model for you, is going to do most of the things, do BOQ, like bill of quantities, design using budget. In fact, some of the tools that we built recently with Narva, agentic tools, I'm going to talk about it later, but that basically is doing exactly that. Now, this might sound actually pretty scary, and you might be like, okay, if AI is going to draw CAD for me, then what am I going to do? Like, what is the point of me existing? basically, we want to ask this question actually in this session, and I want you to answer for yourself. I'm going to share some thoughts on it in the next few slides. So I'm going to say, um, yeah, this is another question. In the age of AI, how can we be more human? That's a more philosophical question for everybody to answer on your own. But this question basically means in a world where, as I said, AI is doing most of your CAD work, drafting work, presentation, etc., etc. What is the value that you are bringing to the table? What is the value that you're adding to the conversation, to the project? Where are you coming from? And how are you able to lift the project and affect the project in a good way as a human contributing to the project, right? So that's the most important question in here. And my own answer to that is, at the end of the day, we are all humans and we have our own life experiences. We have our own sort of perspectives that we developed throughout our lives. We have our own tastes. We have our own understanding of the world. We are the only people, we are the only living beings that can go to a theater play and really be influenced by the show that we just watched. We are people who deeply care about something that happens. We are, only beings that are able to read, um, Keats' poems and be touched by it. Read Rumi and get influenced, by the poems that we read, and then that influences our work as well in one way or another. Now, if you ask AI can read you the whole Shakespeare. AI can watch this movie that you're playing for it. AI can read this book, but can AI feel that? I don't think so, right? AI does not have feelings, and therefore that remains, the main point of our conversation. Like, what is the human value that you're bringing to the table? I think there is a tremendous value in being a human, bringing all of your perspectives and narratives and life experiences and feelings that we experience in life to these projects that we design for humans. And it's important, it's the core sort of part of every project. It's the narrative, it's the story, it's the power of the story that you're telling with that project. So in a world that basically that is going to be more valued, if you're a human contributing to the project rather than you drawing CAD, then you want to be able to position yourself in that way in the future practice. So people that are only able to do CAD drawings, only able to do visualizations, only able to do certain things are going to be unfortunately at risk of losing their jobs, mainly because sooner or later there will be an AI that can do presentations. Sooner or later there will be an AI that can draw CAD. So you want to be positioning yourself as this, person that is contributing hugely to the core design concept and narrative of projects and to the business as well. And this is another question I want you to answer on your own. If AI removed 80% of repetitive work from your day, what would you spend that time on? If AI did all the CAD, et cetera, and freed 80% of your work, how would you spend that time, right? Would you spend that on ideation, conceptual design, like reading books to be inspired, or like what would you do? That will become the core value that you bring to the table, and that will be something that makes you happy as a human. Now, going to AI, I want to basically break this presentation in 3 paradigm shifts. I want to talk about the first paradigm shift that happened in 2022 when we were introduced to tools like DALL-E, Midjourney, and that's what I call diffusion intelligence. So diffusion intelligence was basically AI that was able to translate your prompts as simple text into set of pixels that it put together in order to create one image, right? So in this paradigm shift with diffusion intelligence, although it was a big paradigm shift, it was something that we were never used to before, never seen something like that or experienced. But it was not intelligent enough for humans to be able to make that tool practical and put it in practice, right? And then we had another aha moment, another paradigm shift in this sort of world, where tools like Nano Banana and Gemini and ChatGPT image model came to existence. And that's what I call multimodal intelligence, where AIs started to have an additional layer of analysis and intelligence that was able to understand the context of your prompt, not just your prompt as series of texts and characters, but the meaning behind your prompt and what exactly you wanted to achieve. So multimodal intelligence basically came as a highly sophisticated and intelligent multi-layered AI capable of deep analysis and diffusion, right? So there was additional layers of intelligence that was able to capture the narrative and the context of your prompt. And then once it understood what you want to do, it would basically pass your prompt to the right algorithm that was designed to execute your job in the way that you want. So very complicated and complex system, and also very intelligent, much more intelligent than the previous ones. And the sort of models that we can name for multimodal intelligence, we can name, as I said, Nano Banana, which is a Gemini or Google product, a ChatGPT image model, Flux. These are models that are multimodal intelligent. And then the next phase of AI is going towards agentic intelligence. Agentic intelligence is where you add another layer of execution to the models that you previously had, and both text AI, LLMs, large language models, as well as image models, image diffusers like Nano Banana. You add a layer of execution where not only they are giving you images or text and information, but they're able to autonomously and intelligently go and do stuff on your behalf, right? And that's when things get very, very useful. Like AI gets seriously practical in your operations, where it can literally do the job of a team in a practice that is small, is able to do a whole job of a team because you put multi agents that are designed with different skills, and they're able to do presentations, they're able to do analysis of the project, how it is going. They're in the loop of communications. They know what's going on. They know who is doing what. They know the employees in the company. They know the client persona. They know what they're all about. So, and they kind of produce for you, not just information, but also they write email. They do so many things. I'm going to talk about them at the end. So going back to diffusion intelligence, that was the first paradigm shift starting in 2022, where we had Midjourney, and it's simple as this. You had the prompt, series of texts and characters given to the AI algorithm that resulted into images that were series of pixels presented to you as the output. And this was a simple translation of your text where basically the diffusion model put together pixels next to each other to create something that it would go and pick from data set of the model that was trained and the data set that was trained on, and create an image that looks like it. So if you set a brown cat, it would go to the data set of billions of images of cats, and then brown, it would go to the data set of the word brown and look at billions of brown as color, and then put together those things instead of pixels to create something as an output. So there wasn't an intelligence in terms of understanding the context and so on and so forth. There was just a mirror translation of your prompt. I don't want to bore you with all of these diagrams, but some of the tools that we used to work with back then, we can name Dolly, Stability AI, Stable Diffusion, and Midjourney. And this was one of the early works that I was doing with Midjourney, and it was pretty exciting. Very capable models, and we started to do real architecture, real interior design using those tools. And this was my first project using AI, and that was for Shiseido. So they commissioned me to design the interiors of their store in Mall of Emirates in 2022. And we used AI to visualize what this space could look like. We had a lot of ideas, we did a lot of sketches, and then we used those sketches to bring those ideas to life, and they resulted into these concepts. And then this was another project that we again used Midjourney for. I think this was 2023, if I'm not mistaken, before. This was DecoHub.io, which was an immersive experience designed for this company called DecoHub, which was a Spanish-based company based in Barcelona. And the goal of the project was to create this immersive, beautiful space that would host little curious spaces to showcase the best interior designers' works in Spain. So each room was given to an interior designer in Spain, and they would basically present their design, and the sponsor of this program would showcase their products, so on and so forth. I'm going to play you the video. So basically, as you can see, these are the spaces that interior designers design in this project, and you could, yeah, I don't think it's available now, but you could basically use your laptop to get inside this project and just roam around and look at different spaces. There were products that we showcased for the sponsors of the project, etc., etc. And this was literally designed using the creative direction that we developed with Midjourney. So that was like thousands, tens of thousands of sort of images that we created with Midjourney, and we created a direction of, okay, where this space is located, what does each space inside look like, what is the user's journey from when they start the project, and then how they go around the project, etc., etc. That was all visualized and envisioned with Midjourney. And these are some of the shots that we created back then using Midjourney alongside tens of thousands of other images. And then we had a 3D team that put together those spaces in 3D in real space. And then it was open to the public. I used to design a lot of like furniture for fun, but these are for reference to see, how detail, in my opinion, a very dumb tool like Midjourney back then was able to create amazing quality of very creative, pieces of furniture. And then in 2025, we started to see the rise of multimodal AIs like Nano Bananas and ChatGPTs. And basically, these models contain, as I said, additional intelligence layers that help with understanding the context of your prompt, etc., etc. So you start with the user prompt, Then you have a prompt analysis agent, not agent, but prompt analysis LLM that would look at your prompt and analyze it in depth. And then you have a multimodal fusion, which chooses what algorithm to feed your prompt to. So what you write in Nano Banana is not basically the last prompt or the final prompt that gets fed to the algorithm. There is an LLM inside that actually decides what prompt it should use, and it will write its own prompt. So you're just giving directions. That's why using something like Nano Banana is very helpful and simple. And at the end, you have the diffusion layer, which would create your output. ChatGPT, Gemini, Flux, these are all the models that we can access for multimodal intelligence. I want to show you some use cases of multimodal and what they are able to do. So many of you might not know that, for example, Nano Banana can take your floor plan without any 3D, nothing, using just a floor plan, and is able to visualize for you the interiors using your furniture, using your FF&E, anything that you want. You have almost full control over that space. You don't need a 3D model. I'll show you more and more examples. A lot of people say they're not accurate. We're working with clients every single day, and I'm talking about visualizations that are costing them £2,000 if they're not using AI for it, but it is equivalent to those visualizations that will cost them £2,000, and they're now using services that are provided by companies like us, for example, and they're getting that for a lot cheaper because that's the resource that we can utilize now, and they're very, very serious visualizations with very high accuracy. So when we talk about visualizations, it's not just that you type, hey, like just visualize this for me, and there's like random furniture. No, you have full control over your inch by inch of your image, where you can literally decide what to put in that image in the highest quality possible. Mood board to render, you can see this is literally a sketch over a SketchUp model, and then this is used for the reference of the mood for the furniture and the finishes of the space. And you can see the furniture, they look exactly like this reference in here, the parquet, and same the brass in here. We can see how accurate things can get. Also, so many people don't know that when it comes to CAD and elevations, you're able to actually extract CAD from images as well. So you are actually able to feed something like this and achieve an internal wall elevation that you can use for your interior project in AutoCAD or like ArchiCAD or whatever software that you're using. You can translate into CAD and use it in your software, right? And you can do vice versa as well. If you have CAD, you're able to generate renders like this, again, with Nano Banana 2. This is to show you how you can basically go from like a empty floor plan on the left to the one on the right, where a client understands this much better because it's 3D, you have textures, it is much more fun to look at something like that versus something like this. That's a very easy transformation. AI has started to understand complex diagrams that humans design. For example, RCP, reflected ceiling plan, where you're basically showing where the lights are located and what types of lights in your space. Obviously, AI is not going to give you the 100% of what you want to achieve, but it is able to give you 60, 70%, and you can work with that to improve to get to 100%. Generating views, that basically shows that you don't really have to rely on 3D models nowadays. The 3D model was a bottleneck before when it came to presenting projects, but now it doesn't need to be. You can still decide to build 3D models. We still need 3D models at certain stages of the project, but not the entirety of the project. And especially when you're convincing your client in the beginning stage, in stage early stages, like a stage 1 or 2, maybe you're presenting something for feasibility or whatever, you don't really need a 3D model, right? You're able to sketch, turn it into render, and then capture different views. As you can see, I'm just changing the camera in this image and taking different shots. I don't have a 3D model of this space, and this space does not actually exist in reality. This is a image designed using AI, and then I'm also controlling the camera. So that's what I mean when I say you almost have full control over your images and the work that you're doing. Image to CAD, let's say you want a CAD block of a sofa elevation and you can't find it on the supplier's website. You can just put it in the software, turn it into CAD, put in your AutoCAD, and you're done. Swapping furniture, easy. Client wants to see different versions of this space with different furniture. Previously, you had to use either Photoshop or like 3D model, but now it's just like a prompt way for you to quickly change that. In fact, we have this project. We're doing one workshop with a particular client that we're sitting with them for half an hour to decide for them to decide what furniture to use, and we're just using AI. Product placement. We work with a lot of product manufacturers, and they want to present their products on their website in the most accurate way. And we're basically using AI for that, and it's actually very effective. Changing lighting, if you want to present to your client what this space looks like in different times of the day, you don't have to go back to your 3D model, or you might not even have a 3D model. You're able to just use AI to do that. There are very, very different ways of using AI as well, including videos and using it for very interesting, fun little videos that are used either for marketing or you want to show it to your client or just for fun. The capabilities are endless. They're insane. This is how you can apply a fabric, texture, upholstery to a piece of furniture, accurate results, transformations from CAD to 3D, or from sketch to 3D, using video models, from SketchUp to full 3D of the space. You might not know also you can use AI for changing floor plans and drawings. You can literally say, hey, I want to change the sort of the layout of the living room to more circular. You can say, I want to get rid of this door to make this kitchen open. You can say, I want to change this dining area to more oval. You can say, I want to add a sofa in there. You can also take a section. I mean, this is pretty insane. This is non-banana 2. You're able to take a section of a floor plan, not even a 3D, and this is able to, it's even cutting through the furniture, and I'm showing that it is actually cutting through furniture, and this is doing it correctly. It is cutting through the furniture, and the accuracy is pretty insane to be able to do that. It is getting to understand how we draw details. It's not there fully yet, but it is trying to understand how things can connect and join. And if you have like a CLT, cross-laminated timber floor, and we want to connect it to the facade, and the facade is whatever, like how it's done. It's not 100% there yet, but it is getting there. Again, empty plan to 3D, taking sections. Although, like when it comes to very complicated diagrams like this, you have to bring so much information for the model to be able to execute this quite accurately for you. So if you have not so much information, you're not willing to give the AI a lot of information about, what is going on inside this space, then the chances that you get accurate results is quite low. So you have to give it enough information for it to be able to execute what you want. Exploit axonometric details, doing site planning, master plan design. If you're designing a whole shopping center, let's say, in this site in London. Post-production, adding things to make your renders come to life. And this is a render we created using AI, a concept for a project, and this is basically the elevation, the cat elevation. Again, use AI to create that, and that could be transformed into real cat, editable cat as well. This is quickly to show you how you can go from, if you're an interior designer, all the way from the start of your project to visualizing the spaces using floor plan. You have a floor plan in here, it's empty. We're using Nano Banana to design different layouts for our project, and then using one of the layouts to make a 3D version with our own materiality. And then from there, we pick a space. Let's say we want the living room and we want to create a visual of this living room looking this way. And this is a accurate scale, geometry, everything, but it looks bland. So we want to add our own taste. So we start to choose our paneling, our coffee table, our lights, everything. And then we have the render that actually looks good. And this is what I'm talking about when I say a 2,000 pound render can be literally done with AI without any 3D model, with your own selection of furniture and finishes and everything else. Now you don't need to rely on a 3D visualization company to be able to do that. You can do that yourself. However, you need a visualization company when you want to show your client the final renders at the end. Maybe, I don't know, if you want, you can rely on more professional services that give you that. Or if you want your project to be published, you can maybe go to a visualization company. But most of the times, when it comes to concept stage, you're able to actually visualize in pretty insane quality your projects and save a lot of costs. I mean, this entire project from floor plan to this visual, as well as taking different angles of shots of the same space and also visualizing it in different sort of lightings during the day, and turning the camera around to see the kitchen. And this is not a random kitchen. This is the kitchen in the floor plan. This is the kitchen with our choice of countertop, the marble and everything, the light over there, everything is our choice. This was all done in half an hour, right? So you can see how much time you're saving for a lot of the things that you're doing already. Instead of me showing you this, I can show you something that I've been testing lately. That's a new AI video model, and that can actually, you can clone yourself in a project that you've designed, and you can walk in the project, you can talk with your own voice, and you have almost full control over your character to what to do and what to point at and what to say. And look at this. Avatar. My voice is real though, and this space redesigned using AI, now I'm showcasing it to you using Seedance 2. It is pretty insane walking in this space and presenting to you something that we designed with AI using my voice and my AI avatar. Maybe this is the future of how you want to present your projects. Previously, we used to have a lot of inconsistencies in AI video models, but as you can see, this video is pretty consistent. My voice, my AI avatar, and this space. Look how beautiful this is. It's all AI. Previously, this feature allows me to communicate the depth of my projects with my clients through walking into the space and talking about each and every design decision that we made for this space before it's even built. Now, you tell me, would you use something like this to present your project to your client without a 3D model or anything like that? To learn how to do this, comment video, and I'll send you the link. Now, it is pretty funny as well, but you can see the extent of what we can do now. But like, you can almost have full control over your character, what it does, where it walks into, and the space, everything, right? So it is getting to a place where you can literally create videos, walkthrough videos of your project without any 3D model, right? Just with a series of images and concepts that you created using Nano Banana, you can create like a whole walkthrough, take your client to the project and immerse them. Want to skip some of these videos, but basically,
when you walk into the living room, you immediately get this sense of calm. It's a
is
layering of textures and a very gentle palette. We kept the furnishings low and curvy to feel almost like they're floating on the shag rug.
So these videos, they're only done with one render of the space and one prompt to basically define what the person says. And she's going around zooming into the details and talking about different things with ultra high quality. Like the render was just like a wide render, and she's walking around the space and zooming into the details of different areas, and it is pretty shocking. Just conscious of time. Yes, you can do 3D models with AI. If you have a project, you can literally create a 3D of interior and exterior using images, using just images. This was one image turned into a sort of it looks like a point cloud model where it's similar technology. And this is a 3D model created using one image, one render that gave to AI. And then finally, agentic intelligence, which I talked about in the beginning, which basically adds a layer of execution. And if I go to some of the things that I've been experimenting, so we created an agentic AI that uses a budget to design a space for you. So let's say you say, okay, for this room, the client has given me 50K or 100K or whatever, right? So you set the budget. You say the budget for this room is 20K. Next thing you want to do is you insert the space, what it looks like currently without anything inside. The next thing is you define the furniture brands that you want to bring furniture from. Let's say Soho Home, whatever, like B&B Italia, whatever furniture brands you want to bring furniture from. You basically write the names, and then you say what furniture you want to put in that space: 3-seater sofa, chandelier, blah blah blah. Next thing is this agent searches for those types of furniture that you've asked on the website. It doesn't go through them like a ChatGPT, just seeing the text. It will act like a human. It will open a tab in the agentic browser that you don't see. It will open a tab, look at the furniture, try to match it with your descriptions, etc., etc. Look at the prices, and then at the end, select a list of furnitures that you can use in that project. Send it to you. You review and say, okay, I like it, I don't like it. You can see the links, everything, all the details. It's like a specification sheet. And then if you're happy, then you say visualize, and this visualizes the project for you. Right? So at the end, you have a visual that matches all the furniture over there, and they match your budget, right? It doesn't go above your budget. So this is agents, basically. When I'm talking about agents, I mean AIs that are smart enough to be able to go and do things on your behalf, and they produce for you. They produce information, they execute on tasks, etc., etc. That's the same agent that I'm talking about. It gives you a list of furnitures, gives you the links as well, and then you click visualize. It visualizes for you, and you're done. You don't need to do a thing. So that's where we are heading next. Basically, what you want to do in this position, you basically have to do three things at the moment. Number one is you have to have like a foundational upskilling in order to understand the core of AI technology, and in order to implement it to your work, you need to have like a foundational upskilling. LABASAD is a good place to start. You can enjoy the AI classes in the LABASAD program, or elsewhere. If you want to do foundational upskilling is hugely important. Number two, you have to draft your AI strategy, how you want to use AI in the next few years, and how you want to use your own human input, where that is important, and you want to emphasize it, and where you want to bring AI, that's your strategy. You have to basically write it in detail. And number three, onboard your tools. What tool sets you want to be using that you feel more comfortable? I talked about Narva briefly. Narva is a platform, for example, we develop ourselves, mainly because we saw the need in the industry, because there wasn't so much useful tools for architects and interior designers. So whatever we do in the design work that we do with AI Hub, we implement all the learnings into Narva. There are other tools as well. You have to select the tool that feels comfortable to you. What we did in Narva, for example, is we created apps that are no prompt app. You basically go, for example, if there is a lighting change, you want to change the lighting of your image, insert your image and say, I want it in sunset, let's say. You don't need to write the prompt, you basically select. Or let's say if you want to change the view, you basically use this circle to change the view of your shot, right? So you don't need to prompt. So you want to see which tools are more specific to your use cases, and be able to say, okay, I'm selecting one or two tools. I'm going to be employing those two tools. I'm going to invest on them. I'm going to use them to achieve what I want in my AI strategy. And thank you so much. So we will have a Q&A section. I think my colleague here will ask some